But the Giro d'Italia, a 3 weeks race, second only in importance to the Tour de France, would not be fun. Roche would have to battle his Italian teammate and acknowledged rich playboy Roberto Vicentini for the right to win.
Vicentini is the golden boy of the 80s. He had won the Tour of Italy in 1986 with Carrera. He had had a great career before that also. I had never won a major 3-week-long tour, even though I had won all the small 8-day, 10-day tours. But 10 days and 3 weeks, totally different things. I'd won an awful lot coming into the tour, but they were afraid that maybe I might have been already wasted. That they'd be better off having me there as a second leader to Vicentini. We started off like as co-leaders, until, of course, the stage of the Poggio, the time trial, descending it, which I won. I got the jersey the following day, I think, in the team time trial, which Carrera won. And I realised then that Vicentini was changing, because he was talking to the journalists, and the journalists were saying to him, well anyway, you're going to beat Roche in the time trial in San Marino. You get the pink jersey, and Roche will ride for you every day after that to the finish. And then the real niggling part about it then was the journalist said to Vicentini, well, and then like that then you'll go to the Tour de France and help Roche win the Tour de France. And Vicentini responded, oh no, after the Tour of Italy I'm going on holidays. I'm not going to the Tour de France. So I said, well, who does he think I am? Like, he wants me to actually ride for him, and then when I'm away needing his help, he'd be away in the beach somewhere. So I thought, well, that wasn't going to be the way I was having it, so I let things go, and I realised that every day he was following me everywhere. I had the jersey, but he followed me everywhere. If a breakaway group went away, he wasn't in it. I'd have to get across to it myself maybe, and look around, he'd be on my wheels. So it wasn't exactly the best way of getting on the good side of me. And then one day I remember there was a big crash in the final 500 metres, I think it was, a big crash, and I was in the crash. And I looked at television that night, and who do I see just popping off on the right-hand side of the road? Vicentini. Like, he could have just stopped to see. It was no big risk because it happened in the last kilometre, but I thought it was the jest he made of actually seeing me on the ground and going. I thought it was very sly.
Vicentini had made it quite clear he wanted to win the race, and Roche was to play the support role, even though he still had the Maglia Rosa on his shoulders. Vicentini finished the time trial from Rimini to San Marino in the wet conditions with the best time. It brought about the change as Roche struggled and lost big time. The Irishman had few friends in Italy now, with the crowd spitting at him and threats forcing him to eat in his room. Vicentini had finished, and he had the pleasure to watch and wait to see just how much time Roche would lose. It was hard to believe they were both on the same Carrera team, as each plotted the other's downfall.
As he had planned, he beat me in the time trial in San Marino. And I was kind of saying, well, what do I do now? He's got the jersey, all Italy is behind him because he was the local boy, he was the golden Italian boy, the previous winner, an Italian team. Sure, he can win it going on his previous results, and who was I? So I just thought, well, I had a very, very good accomplice, actually, was Eddie Skippers. We shared a room together. That night I remember sitting down with Eddie and we said, well, Eddie, what do you reckon? So Eddie says, what do you mean? I said, well, thinking I still win. So Eddie said, if you believe you can win, I think you can win. I said, well, how do we go about it? So Eddie just said, well, Vicentini has won today. He's put an awful lot of effort into winning this stage today. We opened out the road book and we said, well, the next mountain stage is in 3 days' time. So Vicentini will be sure that I'm going to attack him in 3 days' time. But what if I attack him tomorrow? We said he'll not be expecting it, so we thought, well, the stage in the Sappada, we thought, well, we'll just wait and see. So then eventually, anyway, a group got away on a hill and we had no Carrera teammates in it. So I thought, well, I'm a Carrera teammate. If I got across that group, well, then Vicentini can't chase me. So I went down the far side of the hill like a madman, and I left everybody behind me. Got across to the break, we had 2 minutes up, but eventually when my team car came along to me, he said to me that, well, Carrera are riding behind me. So I thought, well, what's the story here? Like, my own teammates are riding, why not wait for the other guys? So it actually annoyed me to an awful lot, and I always remember one vision I have of that particular day was, I have many visions of that day, but a very, very wide open road, 20 yards wide, and I'm like 40 seconds ahead of the bunch with this 2-man break sitting in my wheel, and my own teammates riding 40 seconds behind me with the whole peloton on their wheel. And we spent about 20 kilometres with the same gap of about 40 seconds, and I was just possessed. And when they caught me then, I just went away again in another group, and that's the way it was all day. I kept going away, and eventually Vicentini blew his brains on the last hill and lost 6 minutes, and I got the jersey back by, I think it was 1 second or 2 seconds from Tony Rominger, who actually was coming through at the time, and Vicentini was down to third place, some 4 or 5 minutes behind me. So it was a memorable day for myself and also for Italian cycling, I think.
So 2 days after winning the race lead, Vicentini was out of the hunt for first place. Roche had reclaimed the jersey. So be it, only just. It's now the penultimate stage from Como to Pia, and Roche is in front again, but so too is Vicentini and Robert Miller, wearing the green jersey as leader of the King of the Mountains. This was a solid breakaway now. Roche was in the pink, but he still could not trust his friend, who was clearly struggling behind. Vicentini had always been a controversial character, even in Italian cycling, and now it seemed he'd accepted the fact that Roche was the stronger. He was falling back and out of touch with the race. He would gradually fall back and lose 6 minutes. Roche was among the great climbers of the day here, Marino Lajaretta and Robert Miller, and was doing all of the work. But then if you lead the race, that's your job. He was now climbing so far ahead of Vicentini, he would no longer be a problem on the final stage of the event. Stephen Roche was now pedalling to his first victory in the Giro d'Italia. Robert Miller was collecting all the points he required to win the King of the Mountains, and he would finish second overall as well. Robert Miller wins the stage. Roche still has the strength to sprint home in second place. No doubt now who was going to win this event. Roche saluted his public. Roberto Vicentini came in, losing that 6 minutes and indeed 21 seconds. In the time trial between Aosta and St. Vincent, over 32 kilometres, Roche finishes with the best time to prove a point and win the Tour of Italy by 3 minutes and 40 seconds. He was ahead of his favourite British rider, Robert Miller. Vicentini gave up the Tour on the last day. On the podium, Stephen Roche saluting his crowd, the first Irish winner of the Giro d'Italia, with Robert Miller, his friend and helper, alongside him, even though he was on a rival team.
I maintain even today I did not do anything wrong. Like people will say I shouldn't have done what I'd done, but like I was a teammate. The breakaway in front, Carrera had no teammates in it. I got across to it, so I was doing my job as a teammate. Okay, I was a luxurious teammate, but still I did my job, and it wasn't for Vicentini or anybody from the Carrera team to ride after me. I always maintained that we all had the same jersey. Didn't matter whether it was Jimmy McGee or Stephen Roche. If we had the same jersey on, we rode for the same prize. So I felt I was in my right, but that's the way it happened.